So, Predator. Oh, the lawsuit is heating up. This is one of the first major developments. So, if you didn't know, ladies and gents, Disney, 20th Century Fox Studios, whatever it's called now, under Disney, are being sued for the rights back to the Hunters script by Jim and John Thomas. There's a lawsuit. It's all about copyright. And there's a pretty big development here. It's, I guess, a win for Disney, which, depending on which side of the fence you sit on, is either good or bad. I've done some videos on this a few times, and I will always be covering this extensively. I'm happy to cover this. This is something which I really do want to talk about, and I do want to cover, and I actually think more people should be covering this, because Disney are the reason why we have the copyright laws the way they are now, right? So, if they then do this, they win this, they will potentially change copyright laws again. So this is massive. It's really, really big. It's not an overstatement to say that this will have the potential to change the way creators interact with licensees and studios and things like that in future. So what's the deal? Okay, Jim and John Thomas are not exploiting. They are following the law, the 35-year law, which enables creators to get the rights back to their intellectual property. It's something which Clive Barker has done recently. He's now got the rights to Hellraiser back. Legally, he was allowed it. It's something which Friday the 13th is trying to do. That's obviously stalled quite a lot. And now it's something which Jim and John Thomas are trying to do. In fact, it's also something which James Cameron did, and also Gale Anne Hurd is trying to do to get her sort of rights back that she has as well. So, that's what Jim and John Thomas is trying to do. The issue is, with all of this, is Disney are procrastinating. Really, really procrastinating. They held off on it for ages, and then they decided to basically do a suit against Jim and John Thomas by saying, no, you're doing X, Y, and Z. We want you to dismiss this, etc. Basically trying to bully them out of it. And then Jim and John Thomas decided, no, we're going to sue you then. We're going to sue you for the rights. And off the back end of that, it then went to court. It did that recently. It had its first initial hearing to decide which district court it would actually go to. Now, all this information that I'm about to pull here actually comes from avpgalaxy.net. Fantastic website. I'll leave them linked down below. They cover it really, really, really well. So, there was a lot of duplicate lawsuits, right? And the reason why the Thomas brothers did this, and it wasn't just them, it was also 20th Century Studios, they did it in two court districts. One in the northern court district, which was San Francisco, and the other was in the Central District. Now, the Central District was somewhere where they decided to file it because that's the original location where the sort of jurisdiction of the contract took place. Apparently, all things being equal, the case belonged in the Central District in Los Angeles because this court covers the area where the contract agreement between the Thomas brothers and 20th Century Fox was originally struck in 1986 for the rights to the Hunters spec script. The lawyers for 20th Century Studios obviously agreed with this. And I said at the time, I was like, I tell you what, it just screams to me. It screams of desperation. Disney were like, oh, you can't file it here. We don't want to go to this court, whatever. It just seemed like stalling, basically. Because these things become a situation of, well, who has enough money to out-money one another, out-time one another. Mark Toberoff, who legally represents the Thomas brothers, seemed to really want to pursue his client's case in the San Francisco district. And the reason why he said that was because the Central District in Los Angeles is very congested. Basically, it's going to take a really long time to get this through, and they want it now. But he also said it's going to receive less publicity. I don't know why that would hinder the publicity element. That's quite confusing, to be honest, because I'm talking about it, other people are talking about it, there is publicity out there. I don't know how much more publicity would happen in the Northern Court District over the Central District. I think that's a weak argument, but I could be wrong. But his counter-argument was also because the deal was made in 1986 with 20th Century Fox was within Los Angeles. Mark would argue that the Thomas Brothers lawsuit shouldn't be location-specific because they're actually suing Disney. Because they have the rights. That makes sense. I like that argument. Now, ladies and gents, we have the update. We have the update. So the end of the hearing last week, which was to argue where it should actually be done. The judge was like, I'm not going to make a decision. Don't you worry about this. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to go off and decide. The decision came in yesterday. And the court ruled that they were transferring the case to the Central District of California. So it's not going to be heard. So there's a few things to take home from this. That is a win for Disney. They're going to see this as a small win. We can see it as a win for Disney, I guess. It's also going to really hold this off quite a lot, actually. I think this will slow it down significantly. I don't think this is going to be heard for quite a while now. There is the element that it could speed up because California is now opened back up. I think they made that decision this week, 2-3 days ago. So they're opening back up. So it could be that this will then speed up again a little bit, but I don't know. Now, what does this mean overall? I don't know whether Mark Toberoff had another reason why he wanted to take it to a different court. Being in the Central District Court, I don't see how it's going to hinder it specifically. Outside of, obviously, the things which he's listed publicly. There may be another reason. Something to do with Disney, 20th Century Studios. Maybe they know people. I don't know. I'm not questioning it in that sense. But it strikes me as an odd thing to argue over. Like a court's a court. Unless a court isn't a court. If you get what I mean. So it'll be interesting to see how this progresses now. It is a win for Disney. This is not the company that I want to win. I do want Jim and John Thomas to get their rights back. And I know that'll annoy a few people because, of course, Predator 5 is being shot right now. But the reason why that film's going straight to Hulu. They're not giving it, the publicity, the theatrical release that it deserves. It's just a bit of a cluster at the moment. And I don't think Disney are the right people to handle Alien or Predator. They've all but proven that with the Alien comic, which I'm going to do a review of later today. Or tomorrow. One of the two. But let me know what you think, ladies and gents. There's the latest update and a brief recap. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. If you stayed this long, definitely do hit subscribe because you clearly enjoyed the content, at the very least on an informative basis. They're a little bit more informative than this, but I do have to do that recap each time just to get people up to speed on it all. But leave a like on your way out. Cheers. Take care.